Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Lydia of Lydia Naomi and I am here to bring you PDF sewing patterns and sewing content for all of your sewing needs. Say hello little kitty, say hello. Today I have a wonderful little gift for you. It is my birthday, so I always love to give a little something or share a little something, you know. So this is my latest free pattern. It's the most complex of my free patterns, so you'll really have a chance to familiarize yourself with what I offer in my patterns. You can get it on my website, lydianaomi.com, or you can get it on Etsy for $3. I can't put free stuff on Etsy, it just doesn't allow me. So head over there, get your pattern, and follow along with this tutorial that I'm about to share with you. And also, don't forget to use my hashtag AngieTank. You can use my hashtag Lydia Naomi, and you can tag me at Lydia Naomi Studio, and I'll be able to see it, share it, like it, comment maybe. So without further ado, let's get into the tutorial. To begin, please read through the Read First file. It gives you info on printing, sizing, cut layouts, and even pattern adjustments. Today I'm sewing a size 8, and seam allowance is always included in my patterns, and for this one it is 3/8 of an inch or 1 centimeter everywhere. You can sew this with a serger or use a zigzag stitch on your domestic machine. Now let's get started. For your fabric, make sure you're using a 40 to 50% stretch. If you have a higher stretch percentage, you may want to either size down or take in the side seams, which is very easy to do. To test your stretch, place your pre-shrunken fabric in front of a ruler. I am testing the cross grain, which is perpendicular to the selvage. Place your hand at 0 and grab the fabric at 10 and stretch. The amount you stretch to is your percentage, so 15 will be 50%, 16 would be 60%, and you get the idea. Do the exact same thing for the grain direction, and always do a 12 first to ensure that the fit is to your liking. When cutting out the Angie tank, be sure to cut down to the end of the extended line between the shoulder straps. It'll allow you to really get in there and sew the full length of the strap legs. Start by placing the main and contrast pieces right sides together. Place clear elastic along the neckline, strap legs, and armhole area. The elastic should be the same length as each seam. The edge of the elastic should line up right along the sew line. If it overlaps this area, it will cause a bit of an edge that will be really annoying when you turn it out. In the center of the strap legs, I did cut the elastic an inch shy of the point on each side, but I do recommend using one full piece and it will just turn out better. Sew the neckline, strap legs, and armhole area at 3/8 of an inch or 1 centimeter seam allowance with a zigzag stitch or overlocker. If you're using an overlocker, since the seam allowance is 3/8 or 1 centimeter and the overlocker is 1/4 inch or 6 millimeters, we need to cut off 1/8 or 2 millimeters to get the correct seam allowance. And make sure you don't sew across the top of the straps, they need to remain open. If you're on a domestic with a zigzag, just make sure you're sewing at the 3/8 or 1 centimeter seam allowance with the elastic directly on the stitch line. And whether you're serging or zigzagging, it's really necessary to get the needle into the elastic before you actually start sewing, otherwise the presser foot will push it back and that's really annoying. So this is what it should look like when it's finished. You can trim the seam allowance if you sewed it with a zigzag. Turn out your seams and press. Next, feed one pair of straps into the other so that the right sides are facing each other. I do this by folding in the seam allowance on one piece and inserting the straps from the other piece. Then from the inside, I pull it through and align the shoulder strap so that the seam matches seam. It's really helpful to alternate the seam allowance to reduce bulk. Once pinned together, sew a sturdy straight stitch across the top. And when you pull it out, just check that the seams are perfectly aligned, and they are with mine. It just looks really bulky. So I'm turning it back inside out, and then you're going to trim the seam allowance and the corners. Then turn it out again. The fabric I'm using is a French terry, so it's really not suitable for this. I just did it because it has two different sides and is easier for you to see the wrong side and right side. A simple jersey fabric like a t-shirt fabric is really what you're after, because of course it will be so much less bulky and look so beautiful and clean. Turn the hems in to face right sides together and sew. Then turn out and press. Match the side seams together in the round, matching waist notches. It's really helpful to alternate the seam allowance to reduce bulk. And locate one pair of the turnout notches, and you'll leave a gap between them when sewing the seams. Then sew each side seam. As you can see here, I'm leaving one small gap on this side between the turnout notches, and the other side will be sewn completely. Then use the gap to turn the entire tank right side out, and then you're going to close up that little gap, but try it on before to see if anything needs adjusting. Turn in the seam allowance at the opening, and I just like to give it a quick press to make it easier to sew up. And then you could just do a tiny straight stitch along the edge if you want to make it easy for yourself, or keep it totally invisible and slip stitch the opening with a needle and thread to finish. Congratulations, you have completed your own Angie tank. I would love if you shared your make on social media with #AngieTank and tag me at Lydia Naomi Studio so that I can see it and share it.